A company is building an e-commerce web application on AWS. The application sends information about new orders to an Amazon API gateway, REST API to process. The company wants to ensure that orders are processed in the order that they are received. Which solution will meet these requirements? The options are option A. Use an API gateway integration to publish a message to an Amazon Simple Notification Service topic when the application receives an order. Subscribe an AWS Lambda function to the sorry to the topic to perform processing. Option B. Use an API gateway integration. Send a message to an Amazon Simple Queue service first in first out queue when the application receives an order. Configure the SQS first in first out order queue to invoke an AWS Lambda function for processing. Option C. Use an API gateway authorizer to block any requests while the application processes an order. Option D. Use an API gateway integration to send a message to an Amazon Simple Queue service standard queue when the application receives an order. Configure the SQS standard queue to invoke an AWS Lambda function for processing. The correct answer is option B. SQS first in first out order queues preserve the exact order of messages, ensuring that orders are processed in the order they are received. Next question. A solutions architect is designing a new hybrid architecture to extend a company's on-premises infrastructure to AWS. The company requires a highly available connection with consistent low latency to an AWS region. The company needs to minimize costs and is willing to accept slower traffic if the primary connection fails. What should the solutions architect do to meet these requirements? Option A. Provision an AWS Direct Connect connection to a region. Provision a VPN connection as a backup if the primary direct connection fails. Option B. Provision a VPN tunnel connection to a region for private connectivity. Provision a second VPN tunnel for private connectivity and as a backup if the primary VPN connection fails. Option C. Provision an AWS Direct Connect connection to a region. Provision a second direct connect connection to the same region as a backup if the primary direct connect connection fails. Option D. Provision an AWS direct connect connection to a region. Use the direct connect failover attribute from the AWS CLI to automatically create a backup connection if the primary connect connection fails. Option A is the correct answer. Provision an AWS Direct Connect connection for consistent low latency and use a VPN as a backup for high availability at a lower cost. Next question. A company has an application that ingests incoming messages, dozens of other applications, and microservices then quickly consume these messages. The number of messages varies drastically and sometimes increases suddenly to 1 lakh each second. The company wants to decouple the solution and increase scalability. Which solution meet these requirements? Option A. Persist, sorry, persist the messages to Amazon Kinesis Data Analytics. Configure the consumer applications to read and process the messages. Option B. Deploy the ingestion application on Amazon EC2 instances in an auto-scaling group to scale the number of EC2 instances based on CPU metrics. Option C. Write the messages to Amazon Kinesis data streams with a single shard. Use an AWS Lambda function to process messages and store them in Amazon DynamoDB. Configure the consumer applications to read from DynamoDB to process the messages. Option D. Publish the messages to an Amazon Simple Notification Service topic with multiple Amazon Simple Queue service subscriptions. Configure the consumer applications to process the messages from the queue. The correct answer is option D. Amazon SMS with multiple SQS subscriptions allows you to decouple producers and consumers, supports high message throughput, and scales automatically, making it ideal for scenarios with sudden spikes like 1 lakh messages per second. Next question. A company performs monthly maintenance on its AWS infrastructure. During these maintenance activities, the company needs to rotate the credentials for its Amazon RDS for MySQL databases across multiple AWS regions. Which solution will meet these requirements with the least operational overhead? Option A. Store the credentials as a secret in AWS Secrets Manager. Use multi-region secret replication for the required regions. Configure Secrets Manager to rotate the secrets on schedule. Option B. Store the credentials as a secrets in AWS Systems Manager by creating a secure string parameter. Use multi-region secret replication for the required regions. Configure Systems Manager to rotate these secrets on a schedule. Option C. Store the credentials in an Amazon S3 bucket that has server-side encryption enabled. Use Amazon Event Bridge to invoke an AWS Lambda function to rotate the credentials. Option D. Encrypt the credentials as a secret by using AWS Key Management Service, multi-region customer manager keys. Store the secrets in an Amazon DynamoDB global table. Use an AWS Lambda function to retrieve the secrets from DynamoDB. Use the RDS API to rotate the secrets. The correct answer is option A. AWS Secrets Manager with multi-region replication and built-in schedule rotation provides a managed low operational overhead solution for securely storing and rotating RDS credentials across regions. Next question. A company hosts an application on multiple Amazon EC2 instances. The application processes messages from an Amazon SQS queue, writes to an Amazon RDS table, and deletes the messages from the queue. Occasional duplicate records are found in the RDS table. The SQS queue does not contain any duplicate messages. What should a solutions architect do to ensure messages are being processed once only? Option A. Use the create queue API call to create a new queue. Option B. Use the add permission API call to add appropriate permissions. Option C. Use the receive message API call to set an appropriate wait time. Option D. Use the change message visibility API call to increase the visibility timeout. The correct answer is option D. If the visibility timeout is too short, the message becomes visible again before processing finishes, causing it to be picked up and processed multiple times, leading to duplicate records in the RDS table. Increasing the visibility timeout ensures the message stays hidden until processing is complete. Next question. A company uses AWS organizations to manage multiple AWS accounts for different departments. The management account has an Amazon S3 bucket that contains project reports. The company wants to limit access to this S3 bucket to only users of accounts within the organization in AWS organizations. Which solution meets these requirements with the least amount of operational overhead? Option A. Add the AWS price principal organization ID global condition key with a reference to the organization ID to the S3 bucket policy. Option B. Create an organizational unit for each department. Add the AWS principal organization paths global condition key to the S3 bucket policy. Option C. Use AWS Cloud Trail to monitor the create account, invite account to organization, leave organization, and remove account from organization events. Update the S3 bucket policy accordingly. Option D. Tag each user that needs access to the S3 bucket. Add the AWS principal tag global condition key to the S3 bucket policy. The correct answer is option A. This allows you to restrict access to all principals within your AWS organization with minimal management overhead. Next question. A company is migrating a distributed application to AWS. The application serves variable workloads. The legacy platform consists of a primary server that coordinates jobs across multiple compute nodes. The company wants to modernize the application with a solution that maximizes resiliency and scalability. How should a solutions architect design the architecture to meet these requirements? Option A. Configure an Amazon Simple to Service queue as a destination for the jobs. Implement the compute nodes with Amazon EC2 instances that are managed in an auto-scaling group. Configure EC2 auto-scaling to use scheduled scaling. Option B. Configure an Amazon Simple Queue Service queue as a destination for the jobs. Implement the compute nodes with Amazon EC2 instances that are managed in an auto-scaling group. Configure EC2 auto-scaling based on the size of the queue. Option B is the correct answer. Option C. Implement the primary server and the compute nodes with the Amazon EC2 instances that are managed in an auto-scaling group. Configure AWS Cloud Trail as a destination for the jobs. Configure EC2 auto-scaling based on the load on the primary server. Option D. Implement the primary server and the compute nodes with Amazon EC2 instances that are managed in an auto-scaling group. Configure Amazon Event Bridge as a destination for the jobs. Configure EC2 auto-scaling based on the load on the compute nodes. So option B is the correct answer. Use an Amazon SQS queue to decouple job submission and processing, and configure EC2 auto scaling based on the queue size to automatically scale compute nodes according to workload. This maximizes resiliency and scalability. Next question. A company has an application that generates a large number of files, each approximately 5 MB in size. The files are stored in Amazon S3. Company policy requires the files to be stored for 4 years before they can be deleted. Immediate accessibility is always required as the files contain critical business data that is not easy to reproduce. The files are frequently accessed in the first 30 days of the object creation but are rarely accessed after the first 30 days. This storage solution is most cost effective. Option A. Create an S3 bucket lifecycle policy to move files from S3 standard to S3 Glacier 30 days from object creation. Delete the files 4 years after object creation. Option B. Create an S3 bucket lifecycle policy to move files from S3 standard to S3 once on infrequent access 30 days from object creation. Delete, delete the files 4 years after object creation. Option C. Create an S3 bucket lifecycle policy to move files from S3 standard to S3 standard in frequent access 30 days from object creation. Delete the files 4 years after object creation. Option D. Create an S3 bucket lifecycle policy to move files from S3 standard to S3 standard in frequent access 30 days from object creation. Move the files to S3 Glacier 4 years after object creation. The correct answer is option C. Move files from S3 standard to S3 standard in frequent access after 30 days and delete them after 4 years. Next question. A company recently migrated to AWS and wants to implement a solution to protect the traffic that flows in and out of the production VPC. The company had an inspection server in its on premises data center. The inspection server performed specific operations such as traffic flow inspection and traffic filtering. The company wants to have the same functionalities in the AWS cloud. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A. Use Amazon Guard Duty for traffic inspection and traffic filtering in the production VPC. Option B. Use traffic mirroring to mirror traffic from the production VPC for traffic inspection and filtering. Option C. Use AWS Network Firewall to create the required rules for traffic inspection and traffic filtering for the production VPC. Option D. Use AWS Firewall Manager to create the required rules for traffic inspection and traffic filtering for the production VPC. The correct answer is option C. Use AWS Network Firewall to create rules, traffic inspection, and filtering within the production VPC. AWS Network Firewall is designed for in-depth network traffic inspection and filtering, similar to an on-premises inspection server. Next question. A company is launching a new application and will display application metrics on an Amazon CloudWatch dashboard. The company's product manager needs to access this dashboard periodically. A product manager does not have an AWS account. A solutions architect must provide access to the product manager by following the principle of least privilege. Which solution will meet these requirements? Option A. Share the dashboard from the CloudWatch console. Enter the product manager's email address and complete the sharing steps. Provide a shareable link for the dashboard to the product manager. Option B. Create an IAM user specifically for the product manager. Attach the CloudWatch read-only access AWS manager policy to the user. Share the new login credentials with the product manager. Share the browser URL of the correct dashboard with the product manager. Option C. Create an IAM user for the company's employees. Attach the view-only access AWS manager policy to the IAM user. Share the new login credentials with the product manager. Ask the product manager to navigate to the CloudWatch console and locate the dashboard by name in the dashboards section. Option D. Deploy a Bastion server in a public subnet. When the product manager requests access to the dashboard, start the server and share the RDP credentials on the Bastion server. Ensure that the browser is configured to open the dashboard URL with cached AWS credentials that have appropriate permissions to view the dashboard. The correct answer is option A. Share the CloudWatch dashboard directly from the console by entering the product manager's email and providing a shareable link. This allows access without requiring an AWS account, follows the least privilege principle, and is the